and welcome to episode 8 of the Honeybird Studio podcast. My name is Jenny, and I'm coming to you from the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada. You can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry at Honeybird Studio. This is a podcast primarily about knitting and possibly some other fiber-related endeavors that I might be getting up to. But for today, it is all knitting, with a little bit of admin and acquisitions at the end. So if you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. So glad to have you again. So today I'm just going to jump right into the knitting right off the bat because I'm super excited and kind of nervous and anxious, but excited to share with you my new design, which I am wearing. This is, I don't even know where to begin because this design has been such a flurry. It's been such a blurred frenzy for me, basically, in the last 2 weeks. I talked last time about this shawl, about working on this design and how I had a couple of different iterations of it. And I had made I had placed an order with Polka Dot Creek for some really beautiful yarn. And it actually came 2 days after I podcasted, so I think it came on the Tuesday morning. And so I immediately went to pick up that yarn, wound it up, and just had this on the needles right away. And I pretty much was a monogamous knitter for the last 2 weeks. I knit strictly one project at a time. I think I might have taken a few breaks to work on other projects just to give my hands a little bit of a rest. But for the most part, I cranked out. I mean, I only have 2 finished objects, but they were cast on and cast off in the last 2 weeks. Anyway, so without further ado, I want to formally introduce my newest shawl design, and this is called the Tassel Tango. You can kind of tell, and there's kind of some tassels going on here, and it's bright and cheery and colorful, and I'm so excited to share the interesting concept I have behind the shawl. So I kind of had a crazy idea that I wanted to make an interactive knitwear design. I wanted to make something, I've had this idea for quite some time, for at least a year now, and I've always wanted to, since this idea came into my head, I've wanted to implement it, but I just didn't know how, the inspiration just wasn't there, wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. And when I finally cast on this design, like I mentioned last time, I must have gone through a dozen different iterations. And I finally, once I got this one on the needles, I knew exactly how I wanted it to go. And so, sorry if I'm all over the place. I'm super excited. So going back to what I was saying about interactive design, I'll get to that in just a second. First, I'm going to show it off. So one of the fun things about this shawl is that it's a reversible shawl. So right now I'm wearing it with the subdued side showing. So this is where you see more of the main color and the bright colors are more subdued. You can see them, you can tell that there's kind of a rainbow going on here, but it's not, pow in your face. And so I'll take it off and I'll show you what the other side looks like. So, here's this side. So you can see the colors peeking through. Hopefully it's focusing, I can't tell. But yeah, so that's this side. And then the fun, if you want to be wild, you can wear it with the bright colors showing. So you can see all of the colors there. Isn't that so cool? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this design. So this, I must have cast it on and cast it off. Oh, I think I timed it, or I kept track. It was 5 days from cast on to cast off, and I think it took me the 6th day to block it and to make all the tassels. Yeah, the tassels took quite a few hours to make, actually. But it's super, super fun. I love this. I love the colors. Polka Dot Creek, Shelly from Polka Dot Creek really helped me. She showed me a picture. I picked out all the yarn colors and I asked her her opinion. and she sent me back a picture and let me know that the original main color that I picked might not have enough contrast with the yellow. And so I opted to do the vanilla Undyed, I believe. And I also changed one of the pinks that I originally picked for this pink. So yeah, great customer service there. Highly recommend Polka Dot Creek. If you haven't checked them out already, I'll definitely put the links below. But yeah, so this is going to be called the Classic Tassel Tango because I have a few other versions that I'm going to be including in this pattern. So this one uses, I'll take it off one more time because I'm going to put on my other one. So this one uses 8 mini skeins. So you can see it goes from this like dark blue-green to the light one, purple to light purple, pink to light pink, and then orange to yellow. I thought it was a really nice color combination. And the tassels I made using the colors so each of the colors and their partner with the vanilla undyed skein. So this one, like I said, it uses 1 1/4 skeins of the main color and then 8 mini skeins, but you obviously don't use all of the 20 grams from each of the mini skeins. I think altogether, I wrote it down, I think altogether it's about 140 grams of the main color, including making the tassels, and something about like 80 grams of all the minis, including the tassels. But yeah, so that's the Classic Tassel Tango. So this was like the original one, or like, well, it's not the original, but this is like what I'm going to consider like the classic version of it, because it's the first one I actually finished. And then I thought to myself, well, what if someone only wants to, like, what if someone has a set of 5 mini skeins and a contrasting color, and that's it, and they want to make the shawl? So I did the math, and I made this version. So this one's made out of seawall fibers, and I think I got this mini skein. I got the mini skein set and the main color at Knit City, like, I don't know how many years ago. Maybe like, it wouldn't have been last year, it wouldn't have been the year before, maybe 2018. But yeah, so this is the second version of my Tassel Tango, and this one's called the Petite Tassel Tango because this one's slightly smaller. It uses a 5 skein mini set and 1 skein of the main color. And you can see this is the side where the colors are more vibrant. So I'll stand up and show you a little bit better. So you can see the stitches there. And it's really cool because, yeah, after you've blocked it on the other side, well, it's more obvious on the other Tassel Tango, but it's very subdued on one side and then more vibrant on the other. It's not 100% seamlessly reversible. There's a few parts that I couldn't quite figure out how to make it like super seamless, but you would have to look really close. You'd have to be really, nitpicky. When you're wearing it, you're not going to see the little bits of garter in there. But yeah, so this one is, I'll put it on this way. So this one's just a little bit smaller, but it still is totally wearable as a shawl. Or at least this is how I like to wear my shawls. Ooh, I think I might leave this one on, actually. It looks really matchy-matchy with what I'm wearing. And these are totally my colors. I mean, I'm all about bright and vibrant colors too, but this is definitely something that goes much more with my wardrobe. So yeah, okay. Deep breath. I think I'm getting a little too excited here. Okay, so my crazy idea for this, or my crazy concept for this, for it to be an interactive design, I came up with, I'm sure I'm not the first person to come up with this because it's pretty, common how to loop things, but I came up with these super easy tassels that are removable. Like, they're relatively easy to remove and to put back on. And so this is where the interactive part of this design comes in. So the idea that I had was that with removable tassels, what you can do is, if you know someone else has also made the Tassel Tango and has had all their tassels attached, and you meet up with them, say at like a local knit night, or like even better, like at a fiber festival like Knit City, or like something big like that, you know, you can say, hey, you got a Tassel Tango, I got a Tassel Tango, do you want to trade tassels? Like, would you like to exchange? So the cool thing is, so I take one of these tassels and it comes right off. I mean, like it stays on really well until you pull it off. Like the way that I've made them is they're very secure. So I'm going to trade my tassel. Let's see. Oh, I like the pink one here. So I'll take the pink one off of here. So now I've got my 2 tassels. And with this one, so I'm going to put the pink one on mine. There we go. So now I've got a pink tassel on my Tassel Tango. And I'm going to put my purple and black one on this one. I mean, I guess it would make more sense if you start from one end and work your way out, or like work your way from one end to another, so that way you don't get confused. But you can start from the front and work your way out. So basically, yeah, you see there, I've got the purple and black tassel on there. And then on this one, I've got a bright pink one. And yeah, it stands out, but I love that. Like, the whole idea is to eventually trade off all of your tassels, all of your original tassels from your shawl, and trade it with other people, so that you have a whole slew of colorful tassels from other people, from friends, from people you don't even know, people you've just met. And yeah, I think it would be so, I don't know, is this a crazy idea? I just thought, like, I've only been to Knit City a couple of times. That's the only fiber event that I've ever been to. And I always found it so, I'm not very good at approaching people and starting a conversation. But it's like, if I see they're wearing something, like, oh my gosh, like, that shawl is beautiful, or that sweater is beautiful. It kind of like helps you break the ice, you know, when you have something to kind of attach to and be like, oh yeah, like, that's my into a conversation with that person. And I feel like this would be I don't know, like one of those things where you see someone wearing a Tassel Tango and you're like, oh my gosh, let's trade tassels. Oh, maybe I'm getting a little too excited about this, but but yeah, so that's basically the idea, or like the whole concept of the shawl is you would make whichever, eventually I'm hoping to have 4 different versions. I've got the classic, the petite. I'm working on the math to make a grande version, which is a 2 5 skein set one, or like a 10 skein mini set with 2 main colors. And then I'm working on a 4th one, a 4.5. We'll see how it goes. But I'm hoping to have the 3, the grande, the petite, and the classic all ready to go for test knitters by the end of this month or beginning of August. Oh, and on that note, I am still looking for test knitters. So if you're interested in test knitting this, like, send me a message. Send me a message on Instagram or on Ravelry or through my email, and all the links to those will be down below. And I still have to write up the information that I need to give to my test knitters, because like I mentioned last time, there's a little bit of there's a couple of things that I need to mention before people decide if they want to test knit it or not, because there's quite a few things that I will require at least to make a couple of the tassels, because I'm going to be doing a couple of tutorial videos and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, if you're interested in test knitting, get a hold of me through Instagram, Ravelry, or email. But yeah, I feel like I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I guess going back to the whole concept, I just think it would be a neat idea to, I don't know, like, I envision going to Knit City. I know it's not going to happen this fall, but like next fall, if things are still going well, to take this my original Tassel Tango to, or like my classic Tassel Tango to Knit City. And I mean, even you don't even have to bring your Tassel Tango. You can just bring like, oh, did I bring my Ziploc bag of tassels? I did. So the other thing I was thinking of is like, oh, if you don't want to, like, if you have a Tassel Tango, but you're not going to wear it, like you don't want to like wear it, you can bring a little Ziploc bag of all your tassels and still trade it with people. I don't know. Just ideas I'm throwing out there. But yeah, you might have noticed like in previous episodes, I've had these prototype tassels that I made on my board here. I made those a couple months ago, and then yeah, once I got the yarn from Polka Dot Creek, I was just like instantly inspired to get it done, to just get it written out and the math figured out and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's, I feel like I've waffled on about this long enough, but like I said, I'm just really excited. I think it's a pretty cool idea. I think it's, you know, I think it would be something fun. But yeah, so these are the only 2 things that I finished in the last 2 weeks. I say only, I mean like to cast on and cast off 2 whole shawls in 2 weeks is pretty incredible, I think. Yeah, I'm just super excited about this design, and I can't wait to get it ready for test knitters and send it out and see what other people come up with, because I mean it is a definitely an easily modifiable pattern, so you can really make this however you want to make it. You can go super wild and do, like, I've chosen neutral tonals as my main colors, but you could go wild and like I would love to see like a speckle on one side and then tonals on the other side, or a variegated, like a solid with a variegated or something. But anyways, so those are my finished objects and what I'm wearing, because now I'm wearing this one, my bright pink tassel on there. With that said, now that I've gone all over the place with the Tassel Tango, I'll get into my works in progress, which I don't have many of because, like I said, I worked pretty monogamously on these 2 shawls. I think, oh yeah, so I guess on the Tassel Tango, I showed this one was like the original one that I was making, and I did get a little bit further, but once I got the yarn from Polka Dot Creek, this one's been collecting dust. But I think the last time I showed you, sorry, it's on really short needles, so it's really hard to see. But you can see I've had to add pink because I ran out of my main color. I think I only had 70 grams of this kind of beige color, so I just found another solid in my stash and put it on. So the last time I was at this electric blue, I have since done the birthday cake color. It's kind of hard to tell because of the pink, and now I'm doing where is it? Now I'm doing this one with the pink, so it should be a little bit more noticeable. I think I've only got like two lines in there so far, but eventually I will finish this one. I don't need, yeah, I changed up the stitch pattern, or like the amount of repeats that I've done, because this one's like 5 5 5 5 5 all the way through, but I have decided to change it to something else. So this one's I'm not in a rush to finish it. Oh yeah, the yarns that I used, it's kind of I know these ones are Cascade yarns. I don't know which type of sock yarn it is, but I want to say it might be the one with the silk in it, because it does feel pretty silky. I don't have the ball bands for it anymore, unfortunately. And then like all these colors that I have in here, this was from a mini set from Stranded Dye Works. This pink is Rose Gold from Sweet Georgia. And then I think the next 3 blues in here are all Stranded Dye Works. And then I have this birthday cake colorway. I don't remember the dyer. And then this pink that I'm putting in now is from Midnight Cravings. So it's just a bunch of odds and ends that, like I mentioned last time, I have these vases or these glass jar things, and then I have some Ziploc bags full of odds and ends. So I just kind of grabbed stuff that I thought looked good together and put it in my original Tassel Tango. It's living in my fox bag, which I have my other fox bag here because I have 4 of them. But yeah, so that's that. This is also living in a fox bag, one that I made. And this is my Ranunculus. This is by Midori Hirose. If I can get my needles. Come on. Come on. There we go. So it's looking way brighter on the screen. But I decided to do the short sleeves where you just cast off and then continue onto the body. So I'm about halfway done the body, I guess. I think it's like 10 centimeters of stockinette and then 8 centimeters of ribbing. But I'm just going to keep going until I run out of yarn. I just want to use up the rest of this. I think this is Cascade Anchor Bay. This is really nice jewel tone, like burgundy. It's coming up way brighter on the screen. It's definitely darker. No, it's still too bright there. But yeah, so this is coming along. I really love this pattern. I'm glad that I found more yarn to knit it with. This is technically DK weight, but I mean, this pattern is so adaptable to different yarn weights, I feel, because I did one in like almost not lace weight, but like light fingering, and then I did one in a heavy fingering, and now I'm doing one in DK. So yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to say about this pattern other than like I can't wait to have it done because I really love this color and I can't wait to wear it. Yeah, and the sleeves, I know from experience from my last one with short sleeves that once I block it, this will settle out and it won't curl as much. So, whoops. So yeah, that is my Ranunculus number 3. I'm sure there will be more in my future. And then I only brought 2 more works in progress. I guess not this one. I won't start with that one. That one I'll talk about after. So again, living in my my big basket that's probably too big for this project. Well, I know it's too big for this project, but oops, and take my headphones out. So living in here is my Felix Pullover, and this is by Amy Christoffers. So I finished the sleeve, and I've got my markers to mark every 20 rounds because I want to make sure I make the other sleeve the same. I didn't do any decreases. I went all the way to however many stitches I have, and then I did, I think 8 rounds of ribbing, and then I did an elastic bind off because I just wanted to see how that would go. And I like it because it's much easier to fold up the cuff. So I've started the second sleeve. I just picked it up yesterday, and I knit a couple of rounds, not very much. The yarn that I'm using is Lion Brand Pound of Love. So I think it says it's a worsted weight. I feel like, I mean, I'm using 6.5 millimeter needles, and I feel like this is knitting up more of an Aran weight. Because this is, yeah, it just, to me, it feels thicker. And, yeah, just these particular yarns are like the Pound of Love, and like, I think there's a couple other ones that they say worsted using like a 5 millimeter needle, but they just knit up a lot thicker, I find. But anyways, so the modifications I made to this is on the body. I continued the, like up here in the raglan, there's this eyelet detail, and I decided I wanted to continue that on the body, so I did it on the sides, so it's under the arm there. I thought it would be cool it kept it interesting because, you know, knitting in the round for however many inches this is. It's got to be like 20 inches or something. It gets pretty boring. So having something to do every other round was really nice. I like, you know, even just having something different on each row. There was probably sleeve decreases in the sleeve, but I didn't do it. If there were, I knit the body longer than it says to. And yeah, so that's, but other than that, like, I think I stayed pretty on pattern. I feel like once I've made, okay, so when I get sweaters past the yoke, or like past the raglan increases, once I separate for the sleeves and I start on the body, I just kind of do whatever. I'm not one for, I've made a few sweaters with shaping, with waist shaping, but I find that I kind of prefer the boxy look, or like the not cinched look, I guess. And same with the sleeves. I'm not a huge fan of tight sleeves or sleeves that, where you decrease and it makes it a little bit tighter or whatever. So basically, once I'm done the raglan or the yoke on a sweater, I tend to just do my own thing. I just pick up the sleeves and knit in the round, and I don't do any decreases. And then I do whatever I feel like when I get to the cuff, whether it's decreasing by half and making a smaller cuff, or doing what I did here where I just knit. I think I went down at, did I go down a needle size? Oh, I did go down a needle size. But yeah. And then I did the elastic cast off, or elastic bind off. But yeah, so my sister's coming over today, or my younger sister is, so I'm going to see if she wants to try it on, and we'll see how it looks. We'll see how it looks on her, if I need to make any adjustments. I think I mentioned last time, I was just going to knit it, and when she tries it on, if it's too long, I'll just rip back and, you know, redo the ribbing. I don't mind. I think I mentioned this before, I'm a process knitter. I love the final products. Like I love having, you know, the finished objects, but I just really enjoy sitting and knitting. It's my me time. But yeah. The last work in progress is living in this canvas, just the plain black canvas bag I picked up at Michael's for a couple bucks. And okay, so was it yesterday or the day before I purchased the Weekender? And I'm late to all these sweater parties. I am late to the Weekender party, but I am really enjoying this knit. So I'm knitting the Weekender by Andrea Mowry, and I'm actually going to be knitting this sweater for my sister, but I wanted to kind of like test knit it in some less expensive yarn before I make the actual one, because I tend to do that where it's like, if it's a new to me pattern, I'll knit it in something that's, you know, a little bit more budget friendly, just so I can get familiar with the pattern. And then once I, you know, work out all the mysteries of the pattern, like if I get stuck on something, I'll, you know, at least I've used, and if I have to rip out, at least it's, you know, inexpensive yarn. I'm not ripping out something with mohair or something like that. And so I had a case of knitsomnia last night. And I cast this on last night after dinner. I had to redo the hem, the front hem. No, was it whichever one you cast on first? I cast on too many stitches, so I had to rip it out and do it again. And then the second one I was casting on as I was on the phone with my sister, and I finished it. And when we got off the phone call, I went inside and I was about to attach it to be in the round, and I found out, oh my gosh, I cast on too many stitches. So I had to rip the whole thing out, like the whole ribbing out. It was only 1.5 inches, and had to recast it on, re-knit it up, and then attach in the round. So anyways, I mean, I've actually done quite a bit of work considering I only cast it on yesterday after dinner, and I had to redo the hems. But yeah, like I said, knitsomnia. I think I was up until 2 a.m. knitting on this thing. And then I woke up at 5. I had my alarm set for 4:30, but I slept until 5. And I pretty much got up, put a pot of coffee on, and got right back to work on this. So it's not much to look at right now, but this is knit like inside out technically. So the way it's gonna face like outside is gonna be the reverse stockinette. And then it's got this slip stitch detail down the front and the back. And oh yeah, so I should probably tell you the yarn that I'm using. I think it was like a month or two ago, Michael's was having a sale on yarn, and so I got 3 balls of Bernat Super Value in this teal color. It's got like black undertones. I thought it was really cool, and it feels, I mean, it's 100% acrylic, but it feels pretty soft. I will say, working with acrylic in hot weather with metal needles, it might even be worse with wood needles, but I found that my hands would tend to get really sweaty working with acrylic, and it gets really squeaky on the needles. And so I actually had to bring my fan over, sit it next to me, and have the fan blowing on my hands, because I don't know. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, for sure, but it was kind of, I do find that when I work with acrylic, I do have to knit a little bit slower, because it's just, it's a little bit tougher to work with, I find. But I mean, it doesn't stop me from knitting with it though. As you can see, I've got quite a bit done on this, and my Felix Pullover is also 100% acrylic as well. But yeah, it's just a nice project to work on. Pretty mindless. There's only like one detail that you have to remember every row, and it's just the 1 or 2 stitches, I guess. And it keeps it interesting. Like, I feel like every time I get to my marker, which also, by the way, is a stitch marker by Firefly Notes, if I can, it's a little kitty cat. This little cat ear marker. So I've got a couple of those. I've gotten a couple of them from them. I've got this bronze one as well. But yeah, I think I need to order some more. I've got so many projects on the needles that I've kind of run out of stitch markers. But yeah, so that's my, I guess this is the front, because that's the shorter hem, and then the back has the longer hem. And I will say, so I tend to read through the pattern, like briefly read through the pattern before I cast it on, see if there's any information or any notes or anything. And Andrea Mowry does a really good job of like letting you know what to expect out of the pattern. I think this is actually my first Andrea Mowry pattern. I know I'm like super late to all these popular pattern designers' patterns, but she had the tutorial linked for the tubular cast on, the 1x1 ribbing tubular cast on, and she explained it really well. I think it was like an 11-minute video, but I just went to the part where like it shows the overhead view of her doing the stitch, and she explained how she would remember how to do the knit and the purl, or like the knit one on and purl one on kind of thing. And I was like, oh, that resonated. It clicked with me right away, and so I had no problem doing that cast on. It does take a little while, and I did have to stop a couple of times and think, oh, did I just do a purl or did I just do a knit? But the way that it is, it's kind of hard to do 2 knits in a row or 2 purls in a row, because then your yarn wraps differently. But anyways, enough rambling about that. So I'm excited to have some, a new project on the needles. I am going to be ordering more yarn for my other version, my grande version of my Tassel Tango. I'm currently looking at different indie dyers. I'll be knitting this one, the Petite one again as well. I'm going to be ordering yarn from Midknit Cravings. I'm so excited. I'll be doing that this week. And then my 10 skein, or my 10 mini skein plus 2 full skein version, which is the Grande Tassel Tango. I'm still looking around at yarn dyers who sell sets of 10 mini skeins, so we'll see how that goes. Well, I've got to do some research this week on that. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the knitting content. That's all I've been working on. That's all I've finished. So if that's all you're here for, thank you so much for joining me today and listening to me ramble on and on about my Tassel Tango. But yeah, and hope to see you next time. If you're interested in my acquisitions, I have one knitting related and two not knitting related, but I incorporate them into my knitting. So the first thing is I went to Birkeland Bros Wool downtown here, and I bought some superwash merino sock yarn undyed, and this is 84% superwash merino, 16% stellina, 150 grams, 420 yards. So it's just undyed silver. I think it's silver stellina. So I can't really tell on, but yeah, that's from Birkeland Bros. And I keep meaning, every time I go in there, I keep meaning to ask the owner if this is, because they have a huge, I think it's a carding machine. It's massive. It's probably bigger than this room, like bigger than a standard bedroom. And it's a massive machine that I think they do the carding on, and then they send out the fiber to be spun somewhere else or something like that. But next time I'm in there, I will get that information, and maybe I'll talk about that next time. But yeah, so I got this because I was gonna make another Petite Tassel Tango with another mini set that I have, but I'm thinking Midnight Cravings has a really nice, they have a lot of really nice yarns, but they have a one specifically called BC Orchard set, and they're beautiful colors. Oh my gosh. So I'm probably gonna be ordering that mini set to make the Petite one again. So this will go in my stash and will be used at some point in the future. The other acquisition was some stationery, because I'm a sucker for stationery, and I've always wanted a really nice mechanical pencil, because I use them when I'm doing design work, and I just have like one of those, basic, you can go to Staples or a stationery store and buy like a pack of 20 or mechanical pencils, and they're just like the basic plastic ones, but I wanted to be a little bit fancy and get something a little bit fancier. So I found there was like this whole line of products called Poppin, or by Poppin or whatever, and they were all on sale. So I got this set of 2 mechanical pencils. It's kind of like this, I want to say like kind of like a gold color, but yeah. So it's just a mechanical pencil, but it feels nice. It's got a nice weight to it. It's not light like it feels more like a pen than a pencil. And so that came with it was a set of 2. So yeah, so these will be my designated designing, or for design work, my pencils. I also bought an eraser, but that it's just an eraser. I didn't think it'd be very fancy to show it. And the other thing I got, which was by the same company, Poppin, is the set of, what is this, 10 mini notebooks. Oh my gosh, different colors. Because I've had this idea for quite some time. I tend to lose my train of thought, I guess, on some projects sometimes. Like I'll have it sitting in a project bag as a work in progress for like weeks or months at a time, and I'll forget what I was doing, or like I might have taken the needles off of the project for something else, and then when I go back I'm like, oh shoot, what size needle was I using? And so what I thought was, I've got 10 of these little books. I have 20 works in progress, but I'm going to use them for my most, like the ones that I'm actually using, or the ones that I'm like actively working on in the last couple of weeks or so. And it's basically just like, they're just little notebooks with lines, just a line notebook, just little tiny things. And I thought, well, this would be great to throw in a notebook, or sorry, throw the notebook into a project bag and write notes on like what needle size I was using, what yarn I'm using, all the information for the project. And then that way I won't forget. And like same with like if I'm working on something that has multiple sections of different repeats and stuff, I can write down exactly where I was. Because I've been using sticky notes, and like I mentioned before, sometimes the sticky notes fall off. I've been better now. I have written down on the sticky note where I was, so if I lose track, I can just say, oh, I was on row 16. But I think this would be, these little handy notebooks will be, cute. And like, they were on sale. Not that I needed them, but they were just too cute to pass up. But yeah, so that is acquisitions. And now I do need to do a quick admin section because I did say last time that I was going to draw a winner for the giveaway. So basically all summer long on each one of my podcast episodes, to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is leave a comment below this video. And right before I podcast, not next Sunday, but the Sunday after, I will draw a name, like a random comment from the previous video. And that person will win their choice of one of my patterns. So I brought my old phone and I actually did the comment picker on my phone here, or on my old phone, so I'm not writing it down on a piece of paper. So without further ado, the winner from the last episode is Anne Gallant, and she said, "Yeah, so nice to see a fellow Canadian podcasting. I'm enjoying your episodes very much. Keep up the great work. Anne in Peterborough, Ontario." So another fellow Canadian. Congratulations. So you have won your choice of one of my patterns. So if you can contact me through email, Instagram, or Ravelry, I will get that set up for you and you can have your choice of one of my patterns. So yeah, I feel like there's one more thing I was going to talk about, but yeah, I guess that's it really. So if you want to enter for the giveaway for the next episode, just leave a comment below this video. And if you like, leave a like, and subscribe to my channel if you want to. I mean, that'd be super fantastic. But yeah, so that's that. And then I guess the only other thing, or there's two things. Just a reminder for the Tassel Tango, if you are interested in test knitting one of the versions of it, please let me know. Contact me either through Instagram messages, Ravelry, or my email. Again, that's all below. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, or that I just wanted to touch on again, is the 6 from Stash Mal 2021. Still ongoing. I'm still thinking I might change up. I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to change up the rules again, just to make it way more streamlined and way easier, and just make it be 6 items from your stash, or like make 6 projects from your stash, as long as it's at least 50 grams. And then that way, there's none of this having to enter different categories and stuff like that. So it'll make it much easier to just look at your stash and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to make a hat, I'm going to make a scarf, I'm going to make a sweater, I'll make a, whatever happens to be 50 grams of yarn or more, which I think is, reasonable. So yeah, I think I'll go back into the Ravelry group and maybe drop a note in the chatter thread and see what people think about that. And I want to say that's everything for today. Maybe I forgot something, but if I did, that's okay. I'll talk about whatever it was next time. So yeah, anyways, thanks again for joining me today, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful 2 weeks, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Happy knitting!